Let's talk about how to become a millionaire in real estate. So there are 3 different levels of becoming a millionaire as a real estate investor. So the first level would be an asset millionaire. So technically what an asset millionaire would be is, as an investor, if you have accumulated about $1 million in real estate, right? So your portfolio is worth $1 million. So technically you are an asset millionaire. As an asset millionaire, so this is a great kind of stage to be at because your real estate assets are valued at $1 million. So you have $1 million portfolio. So the next stage would be equity millionaire. So an equity millionaire would be directly tied to your net worth. So an equity millionaire would be, for example, as a real estate investor, you would have a real estate portfolio worth $5 million. And with that $5 million real estate portfolio, let's just say you have mortgages, 80% leverage, so 80% loan to value. So you have about $4 million in mortgages, and then 20% of that would be your equity. So basically about $1 million you would have in equity. So that equity would be considered your net worth as well. So what that means is if you liquidate, meaning you sold your portfolio, your entire portfolio, you'd be left with about $1 million of cash. So that would be considered an equity millionaire. This stage also opens doors to more lending. You have more access to cash because the banks and also other lenders like to see you have a net worth of $1 million plus just because they will then secure additional money that you may need on top of your portfolio, because what that means is they know that if you for some reason can't pay them back, they can recoup those funds from your portfolio. So an asset millionaire is a great place to be. So the next stage would be the cash millionaire. So this would be tied to cash flow. A lot of people think this would be the amount of money that the real estate portfolio brings in. Not necessarily, because the money doesn't necessarily, for example, your gross income doesn't necessarily equate to the actual net profits. So we're focusing on the net profits, or in other words, the cash flow. So in this example, let's pretend that you have a substantial portfolio and it brings in about $250,000 per month, which is a pretty substantial portfolio. You bring in about $3 million per year. And let's just say 40% of that would be cash flow. So the other 60% would be going to all bills and mortgages and all that stuff. So this would also be determined based on your leveraged amount. So if you're highly leveraged, most of that income would be going towards the expenses and mortgages. If you relatively, balance out in terms of leveraged, you should have around 40% of the income, into 40, I would say 30 to 40% of the income going to cash flow. So in this scenario, if that is the case, from $3 million per year, for 40% of that going to cash flow, you would be bringing in about $1.2 million per year, which is about $100,000 per month. This would be putting you in a position of cash millionaire. I believe this is a great place to be. You're technically financially free. Having $100,000 per month coming in, this would be considered financial freedom. You obviously at this point, you wouldn't have a job. This would be something that you'd focus on full time, but this will also take time to achieve. And one of the ways to achieve this level faster would be using the BRRRR strategy. I created a video on how to effectively use the BRRRR strategy. And if you're interested, the link to that video will be below.